Welcome to the Bodhi Academy. My name is Amisha Colasso, and in today's video we will start with the chapter The Human Eye and Colorful World, chapter 10 of class 10. So now previously we have studied about refraction of light by various lenses. So we have also studied that the nature, position and relative size of the images that are formed by the lenses, they differ in various cases. So how can these ideas help us to study of the human eye? So now previously whatever we have learned about refraction of light and reflection of light, and then we have seen how the various features changes depending on the nature and position as well as the relative sizes of the lenses that are present. So now how are these things going to help us correlated with the human eye? So the human eye, it uses light and enables us to see objects around us. So we already know that the human eye is like a camera, okay? It looks around the objects that are present. It has a lens in its structure. What is the function of these lenses in the human eye? How do these lenses used in spectacles correct defects of vision? Let us consider these questions in this chapter. So in this chapter, specifically in today's video, we will learn about the human eye, the various parts it has and the working of these various parts. So the human eye, it is a natural optical instrument which is used to see the objects by human beings. It is called as a natural optical instrument. Natural because it is already present as a system, and it is a kind of a camera that works, which has a lens and a screen system. Now let's look at the structure of the human eye. So the human eye has the cornea, iris, pupil, crystalline lens, ciliary muscles, sclera, blind spot, optic nerves, retina and the vitreous humor. So now all of these parts, we will look at them individually and try to understand what are their functions. So first we have the retina. So retina is here at the back of the eye. This lining that you can see is the retina. So retina, it is a light sensitive screen inside the eye on which images form. It contains rods and cones. So retina, what they are saying, it is the light sensitive screen, and on this screen the image is formed inside the eye. So this screen which is there over here, on this the image forms. This whole thing is the retina over here. So on this itself the image is formed. Then next we have the cornea. So cornea, it is a thin membrane which covers the eye tray. So cornea is this one, this front layer which is there, or front membrane which is there, that is known as the cornea. So it is a thin membrane which covers the eye tray. So inside this we have the eye. So this entire thing which is there is the eye system, and this is the thin membrane which covers it, that is the cornea. It acts like a lens which reflects the light entering the eye. So this cornea which is there, this is the part that acts like the lens and it helps in reflection of light. Then we have the aqueous humor. So we have this aqueous humor that is over here, that is like the watery part. It is a fluid which fills the space between the cornea and the eye lens. So if you look at our eye, we can look that it is slightly watery. It looks like there is some kind of fluid that is present. So that is that aqueous humor. It is basically the gap. Here see, there is this gap between this crystalline lens which is there and this cornea, right? So in between this gap is covered by this aqueous humor which is a fluid. Eye lens, it is a convex lens made of transparent and flexible jelly like material. So next we have the eye lens, that is this crystalline lens over here. So what is it made up of? It is firstly it is a convex lens and it is made up of transparent and flexible jelly like material. Its curvature can be adjusted with the help of the ciliary muscles. Okay, so now first we'll look at the ciliary muscles. So ciliary muscles are here on this outer region. So these ciliary muscles are attached to the eye lens and they can modify the shape of eye lens, which leads to variation in the focal length. About the ciliary muscles we will look into detail, but for time being let's know that these muscles, they are directly attached to the eye lens and they help in modification of the shape of the eye lens which is present, especially with variation with respect to the focal length. Next we have the pupil. So here is this part, outside part is the pupil. So it is a hole in the middle of the iris through which light enters the eye. So our iris is this. So this opening which is there, you see the iris starts from here and it stops here, same way here. So there is this opening over here and then we have the crystalline length. This opening is known as the pupil. So it is a hole in the middle of the iris through which the light enters the eye. So that opening is for the entry of the light. It appears black because light falling onto it goes inside the eye and it does not come back. So what happens, this part it appears mostly black. If we look very carefully at our eyes, we can see that black region. Now why is it black? Because the light that enters over here, it goes inside and it does not come back. So that is the reason why we can see this region as black. Next we have the iris. So these ones over here, this side openings, they are known as the iris. So it controls the amount of light entering the eye by changing the size of the pupil. So if you have ever noticed, if you hit direct light onto your eyes, you can see the iris shrinks. Okay, that is because it is having a lot of light entering the eye. So therefore it is trying to shrink and try to control or reduce the amount of light that is entering inside. If the amount of light that is entering is very less, then it will open up more. So that is the function of iris, that is to control the amount of light that is entering the eye. So optical nerve. These are the nerves which take the image to the brain in the form of electrical signals. So these are the nerves which are then connected to the brain, and from here the images, information about the images go towards the brain. So these were the various parts of the eye and their functions. Now the human eye, it is roughly spherical in shape and it has a diameter of about 2.3 centimeter. It consists of a convex lens made up of living tissues. Hence, human lenses are living organs, contrary to simple optical lenses. Okay, so this was about the human eye. Its diameter is around 2.3 centimeter, consists of convex lens and it is made up of living tissues. Now, how does this pupil work? Now, let's take an example. You would have observed that when you come out of the cinema hall after watching the movie in the bright sunlight, your eyes get closed. So this is something we have noticed. Cinema hall, what happens, it is dark and the focus of light is only in one place. But the minute you come out of the cinema hall, what happens, our eyes tend to close because we are exposed to extremely bright light. And when you enter the hall from bright light, you won't be able to see after some time. After some time you would be able to see. Initially when you enter from a very bright place to a darker place, it's difficult to see. You tend to see darkness around. But after some time your eyes get adjusted to that environment. So here the pupil of an eye, it provides a variable aperture whose size is controlled by the iris. So here what is happening is that the iris is controlling the amount of light that is entering and the amount of light that is going up. So when the light is bright, what happens? The iris contracts the pupil, as in it becomes smaller. So less amount or only sufficient amount of light is entering the eye. When the light is dim, in that case iris expands so that maximum amount of light can be entered into the eye. So pupil opens completely when the iris is relaxed. Now power of accommodation. The ability of the eye lens to adjust its focal length accordingly as the distance is called as the power of accommodation. So that is the ability of the eye lens or the crystalline lens that is present to adjust the focal length depending on the distance of the objects that are present. That is the power of accommodation. Now we have another phenomena known as the color blindness. Now what happens in color blindness is that people basically are not able to differentiate between all the colors. Some colors they are able to differentiate, but some colors they are not able to differentiate. So a person having defective cone cells is not able to distinguish between the different colors, and this defect is known as color blindness. So cone cells are where we have discussed, it is in the retina that is present, and these cone cells are mostly responsible for this differentiating color vision. Next, let's look at the ciliary muscles. So when we were talking, we said the ciliary muscles they relax and they contract. Okay, so now what happens on relaxation? So we have three major things to look at. We have the eye lens, focal length, and the object view. So eye lens, when we say when the ciliary muscle is relaxed, the eye lens becomes very thin. Same way when it is contracted, then in that case the eye lens thickens up. Focal length increases when the ciliary muscle is relaxed, and it decreases when the ciliary muscle is contracted. With ciliary muscle relaxed, distant objects can be seen clearly, and when it is contracted, only nearby objects can be seen clearly. Now we have something known as the near point of an eye and the far point of an eye. So near point of the eye, it is the minimum distance at which an object can be seen most distinctly without any strain. So now say I am looking at a certain object, okay. It may be very close to my eyes. In that case, what happens if I try to keep this pen very close to my eyes, okay. In that case, my vision will start to blur out and I will strain my eyes. Or if I keep it very far, in that case, if I keep it very far from where I cannot see it, I will again have some strain onto my eyes. So in that case, it is that in between distance at which you can see a object very clearly without any strain onto the eyes, and that is for normal eyes, it is 25 centimeter. Same way we have the far point. Far point can be infinity for normal eye. So basically it is the farthest point up to which we can see objects clearly. Okay, so in today's video we have learned about the human eye, the various parts of the human eye and their various functions. Then we learned the functioning or the working of the pupil. We also learned some terms like power of accommodation and color blindness. We saw the difference of ciliary muscles when they are relaxed and when they are contracted with reference to eye lenses, focal length and objects. We learned two more important points about near point of an eye and about the far point of an eye. So that was it for today's video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Bodhi Academy.